Okay, I don't know why, but I literally can't think of anything to say right now. I feel like I've never filmed a video in my entire life. I sat down and I was like, what am I doing? But hey y'all, actually I do have something to show you because I kind of DIY'd my outfit today. And by DIY I mean I cut up a t-shirt and then put another shirt on. But I was on Instagram and I saw somebody do this and I thought it looked really cute. But they had like, I'll just show you. So they had on like a black lacy undershirt, but I thought this was kind of cute because it matched the yellow on here. But I just cut up the t-shirt and now it kind of looks a little bit fucked up. That's okay. But I thought it was cute. So we're going with it. I thought this was a lot closer to me than it is. And so that kind of hurt. So I kind of DIY'd my outfit. And yes, I still have hair. It just wasn't working today. I'm back and I have more Let's Not Meet stories that I'm really excited to read. I only have 2 picked out because honestly, the first one I picked out, I'm pretty sure is going to take up the entire video. It is so long, but I skimmed through it and it seems really interesting, so I want to read it. And like always, I will have the original post linked down below. If you haven't seen one of these, Let's Not Meet is like true stalker stories or true really creepy encounter stories. So all of this really happened. This is something somebody had to go through and it is terrifying. But this one's called The Stalker at My Window. Let me just crack open this bad boy really quick. I have to open soda really weird because I have acrylics. I'm really proud of myself because normally when I get acrylic nails, I bite them off after like a week because I have a really bad habit of biting my nails. But one of my New Year's resolutions was to stop biting my nails because it's literally been a habit since I was a child, like since I was a baby. And I think I've had acrylics on for over a month now. So I'm really proud of myself because I'm not biting my nails. I've been blessed. I don't think the habit's completely broken. Like I'm scared once I take the nails off that I'm gonna start biting my own, but whatever. We'll get there when we get there. All right, ladies? Okay, but let's get into the story, yeah? So they said this all happened throughout my high school experience. Well, the garbage guy's here, so let's just let him do his thing really quick, shall we? I have the worst timing ever. See ya! Thanks for stopping by. This all happened throughout my high school experience. I'm currently a junior at my school, and this all started the second semester of my freshman year. The first incidents were closer to the end of the freshman year. There were a few my sophomore year, and there's only been one so far my junior year. It's all completely true. I tried looking for the police reports to go with it, but I couldn't find anything. I'm gonna give some background information for you really quickly, so you better understand what I'm getting at. I'm itsy bitsy. I'm a 5'2", 90-pound female that looks like a 12-year-old boy. Honestly, I feel you, but I'm like a 5'7" little boy. Pretty much Jordan Baker from The Great You are joking. Pretty much Jordan Baker from The Great Gatsby, complete with the athletic body and undercut hairstyle. Setting-wise, my bedroom window is ground level. Part of my room was above ground and the other half was underground. My window was at grass level. So you could sit down on the grass outside my window and see directly into my window if you look straight ahead. The guy in question, I'll call him Alex, is Asian with really short hair and something like 5'4". He's in the same grade as my older sister too. He's also an avid user of cigarettes, marijuana, alcohol, and the likes. He even bragged to me that he got his license taken away because he went 60 miles per hour above the speed limit on a highway. Holy shit, a goddamn highway with a speed limit of 65. That means he was going 125 miles per hour. That is just fucking stupid. I hate people like that. It's like, you're not even just putting your own life in danger, you are putting so many people's lives in danger. You're not invincible. Just saying, buddy. I know that's like not even an important part of the story probably, but I'm still pissed off already. So basically, a really ill-behaved boy chasing a really good girl. I'll give you the entire story now, and I hope it makes everybody who reads this a little bit more careful when making new friends. The second semester of my freshman year, I took an art class in the hopes to get an elective credit. I was sitting with some friends talking about the projects we were making, and Alex walks through. I'd never noticed him in class before, which was strange. I should also put this on a timeline for you to make it easier to follow. It was close to prom season, so early March kind of time. And luckily, close to the end of the year. He started talking about whatever, and we really hit it off. After a week, I started seeing him popping up around me in the hallways outside my classes, and he would talk to me during passing time. I didn't think much of it, being the stupid and naive child I was. I should also mention that he rode my bus in the afternoon after school. Alex and I would sit by each other on the bus and talk too, which just encouraged further interactions with him. One day, my older sister, who I'll call Tanya, who is 2 grades above me, didn't have theater practice after school, so she took the bus home. She got on, and when she saw me sitting next to Alex, her face turned white, and she sat down near the front of the bus. Thought it was really strange, so I planned on asking her about it when I got off the bus, but I forgot to. This is very important and will come in later. As prom got even closer, Alex kept talking to me about it. My friends and I all assumed he was going to ask me, because not only did he follow me around and wouldn't shut up about it, he was clearly showing signs of interest. Unfortunately for him, however, I was in a relationship at the time, and it was a girl. I had absolutely no interest in dating him. If he did ask me though, I would need to say we'd go as friends. Thankfully, Alex told me instead that he'd like to tell Tanya that if she didn't have a date, that he'd bring her. Almost immediately remembering the bus incident, I said, "She's got a date already, but thanks," wanting to protect her. Over the next few days, Alex started talking about sexual statistics, things like average length of somebody's manhood or the average age somebody loses their virginity. I got super uncomfortable about this and told some of the boys in class that if it got brought up again, I would go sit with them, and they gladly offered to protect me. This was my first set of red flags. Another instance that set off red flags about Alex was when I was at home and the doorbell rang. I looked out the window and Alex was there. This wasn't the strange part because I got off the bus before Alex did, so he saw where I lived. I yelled to my mom that somebody was here to see me, and I went out to the front porch to go talk to him. He was with his friends and yelled to them that he was going to catch up to them later and that he wanted to talk to me first. He told me about some mundane stuff, and I was getting bored. So bored, in fact, that I just bluntly decided to ask him if he liked me. I was tired of him always beating around the bush, and I just wanted a stupid answer. Alex kind of froze and danced around the subject, confirming my suspicions. The way he avoided telling me that he liked me was really strange, bragging to me about his drugs and illegal escapades. My dad was also coming home from work at the time too, so I had an excuse to leave the really uncomfortable situation. When my dad came in the house, he told me about how nice Alex seemed, and I looked over to Tanya, and she looked upset about it, but neither of us said anything. Later though, not on the same day, I posted a picture on my Instagram and he commented on it. I still don't know how he got my Instagram to this day. He commented his phone number telling me to text him and that my dad was really chill. Wait, I feel like you guys were close enough for him to maybe easily find your Instagram, but I've also had really weird incidences with people finding it and I'm like, how the fuck do you know who I am? Like, I had the weird guy in college. I've already told a story about him, so I won't go into that much detail. Like, there was this really creepy guy in my college class, and I'd only spoken to him in class because he forced me to talk to him and play fucking games with him. I never had a full-on conversation. I never introduced myself or gave him my name, and he found me and asked me on a date via Instagram post, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I told another story. These are all on my channel. But I did an escape room with a couple of my friends, and the guy literally took my waiver and found my Instagram through my waiver. I'm like, that's illegal. There's no fucking way that that's not illegal. So it's really weird, and I don't like it. And also, I can't believe he publicly commented his phone number. Along with the demand for me to text him, he continued to almost harass me on the direct messaging and Instagram, asking to hang out. This was another red flag that set things off for me, making me very weary of him, and I decided that I need to be very careful with him from now on. In early May, he continued to follow me from class to class, but from a further distance. This was absolutely mortifying, but my girlfriend at the time thought it was hilarious. She said it was funny seeing a straight boy chase a gay that he had no chance with. I laughed with her on the outside, but internally, I was scared. It was in the same time frame that he actually showed up in my window. I should mention that my parents weren't home at this time either. They were out shopping while all my sisters were home alone with me. I was done with my homework, and I was practicing my makeup skills so I could do the makeup of a few girls that were going to prom. Only juniors and seniors are allowed to go to the prom, and underclassmen can only go if they have an upperclassman date. Yeah, that's how it was for me too. I had my earbuds in and I was listening to my music when I heard some sort of tapping noise. I took them out, listened intently for a minute, then popped them back in. I heard the tapping noise again and took out my earbuds again, once again, listening. This happened a few more times until I kept my earbuds out permanently. I finally heard it again and found it to be coming from my window. I quickly wiped off my makeup, grabbed a pocket knife that I kept under my pillow. I opened my curtains and I saw Alex standing there. That is fucking terrifying. Also, I'm glad that you took the time to take your makeup off before finding the murderer outside your window. He was strangely dressed in a three-piece tuxedo with a single white rose. He said something, but I couldn't hear him through the glass. I yelled through the glass that I was going to come outside and talk to him. As I walked up the stairs to go outside, Tanya came up to me terrified. She told me not to go outside, and I asked why. She told me that Alex was outside and that he was dangerous. She revealed to me that he stalked her freshman year and followed her around the way he did with me. Oh fuck. We both panicked together, and I heard the garage door open, signaling that our parents were home. We ran to the foyer, telling our dad that Alex was outside and that he needed to do something. He walked over to the side of the house where my window was and talked to him. I never knew what he said, but it kept Alex away for a while, which was nice. Things suddenly got a lot worse. Alex started talking to me again, but this time it was about sex and drugs, even worse than before. Telling me about all the drugs he had with him and all the girls he's fucked, going into extreme detail. I went to go sit with the other boys in my art class, but it did nothing. He still talked about it, even making one of the hockey players uncomfortable. They did their best to shield me, but it only went so far. This was my final red flag before I deleted his number and blocked him on Instagram. I was too uncomfortable to put myself through any more social interactions with him. The worst it got, though, was 2 days before the last day of school. I was getting ready for bed around 10 p.m. when I heard a knock at my window. I once again grabbed my knife and looked out my window, assuming the worst, but praying for it to be one of the bushes outside the window. I saw the very dark outline of a figure and my heart dropped. I knew it was Alex. I closed my curtains and ran upstairs to my parents' room, almost in tears about Alex being at my window. My dad and I both went back downstairs to my window, and nobody was there. My dad thought Alex could still be there, just hiding in the bushes outside. My dad decided to try and scare him off, and went to turn on the back porch lights and call for my dogs. I didn't get any more knocks at my window for maybe 2 minutes. I heard another knock and told my dad. He just marched straight outside at this point and found him sitting by my window with his hood up. I don't know what happened, but the police were called and they had to escort him back to his house. It was terrifying. I was pissed at this point. Why couldn't he just leave me alone? It doesn't stop there, however. Just some additional information regarding this moment. We were on family vacation and my dad was retelling the story. He also gave some information that I didn't know. When he finally did talk to Alex, my dad could immediately tell he was both drunk and high. My dad made him empty his pockets and found a large switchblade and marijuana in his pockets, making my blood freeze. Oh my god, I'm so glad that you got your parents involved, like you weren't dealing with this alone, because I don't know what I would do. This is completely irrelevant, but somebody one time in my stream was saying they were watching me through my window because I just get a lot of really weird, creepy people in my streams. And it's just funny because I don't live on the first floor, and like, I think most people know that. And so one of the girls in my chat was like, bitch, are you just standing from the parking lot staring up into the window? Like, what the fuck are you doing? And so I'm just thinking about like someone standing like 30 feet away just like this. What the fuck are you looking at? The next day during my math class, I sat in a spot that faces the window with my back to the door. Halfway throughout the hour, one girl in the class shouts my name and tells me to look behind me. I turn around, as does the rest of the class, and there was Alex, standing intently above me, He's standing fucking above you? Wait, oh my god, I turned around, as does the rest of the class, and there was Alex, standing intently above me, silent. I got up, ready to punch him in the face, but he ran out the door. What the fuck? I just stood in the doorway of the room and broke into tears. 3 other people comforted me, and my girlfriend told the teacher what was going on. The scariest part, however, was that I never told him my schedule. Later that day, my mom, Tanya, and I went to the police at our school to get something done. When the officer said we could do a no contract agreement, we ruled it out because it would take way too long to put into place, with only a few days left in the school year. Later, when the officer talked to Alex, asking him why he did what he did, he said it was because neither me nor my sister told him no. It was the end of the year and nothing had happened with him over the summer. My sophomore year, though, I had another class with him. I took this class because my girlfriend and I had a bad breakup, and I needed to change my schedule to avoid her. I immediately told the teacher about everything so she knew, and everyone in the class protected me from him. I had no further incidents with him that my teacher didn't put a stop to. She cared about me, and is now one of my close friends. Holy shit. My sophomore year was clear of any incidents, and I had pretty much forgotten he existed until recently. I woke up and checked my phone after turning off my alarm. I saw that I had gotten a random Facebook message from somebody I didn't know. My Facebook is about as private as it gets, so I didn't know that it was possible to receive messages from people that I wasn't friends with. My sophomore year, Alex was supposed to graduate, but he didn't. His name wasn't even said at the ceremony and wasn't even listed in the program. Tanya and I laughed about it, but we both knew that it meant he was going to be in our city longer. I looked at it anyways, and it was a very sexual message. It read, "I need to cream pie your little pussy." Okay, yeah. Just know that it's pretty nasty. It was annoying, and I get messages like that all the time from bots on Instagram, so I would have ignored it, but because it was on Facebook Messenger, it was strange. I clicked on the person's name, and their profile came up. I scrolled through their pictures, and I saw a picture that made my heart sink. A picture of Alex. It was Alex's profile. He had messaged me and changed the profile's name and location. I only showed it to a few people, not to my parents yet. I showed it to my current boyfriend, who showed it to his mom, who's a chemistry teacher at the high school we attend, and she told me to tell my parents. The reason we showed it to a teacher was because he'd been seen around the school grounds within the last few weeks, and she may have been able to do something about it. I cannot believe that he's still actually there. I also can't believe the school didn't really do anything about it in the first place. I just feel like with everything that had already happened, I don't know, you think he got expelled or he would not be allowed back on campus at all. Nothing has happened since, but if something else happens, there's a chance he won't make it out of the situation alive, because I'm fed up with him and he's caused me and my family enough grief. Please be careful who you choose to make friends with and what sorts of information you give out. Don't put yourself through what I've been through, please. Let's not meet, you creepy fucker. Oh, and they also said edit. Some people pointed out to me that I mentioned having a girlfriend, but then also mentioned having a new boyfriend. I'm pansexual, so I'm going for different people. Sorry for the confusion. And then I actually read some of the comments, and somebody said what's really bad too is that he was able to first convince your dad he was a good guy. I don't know if he's a genuine psychopath or not, but that's one thing they're good at, manipulating people. Maybe it's just me, but I'm already scared of like every human that I come in contact with, so I can't imagine trusting somebody enough to let them into your life and becoming good friends with them, only for them to like, you know, do a complete 360, start stalking the shit out of you, stalk your sister a little bit, talk to your dad every once in a while. It's just so scary because it's like they know so much about you. I mean, I don't know, the extent of their relationship, but knowing that they talked all the time, you could assume that he knows a lot about her. It's like they could take all that information and use it against you. That is so scary to me. Just like makes it a lot easier for him to stalk the shit out of you. I'm gonna read the second one. It's not as long, but it's still pretty long. But this one says, I've never felt so terrified of somebody I once called a friend in my life. I thought they kind of correlated, you know, shitty people. Your friends? And then they stalk you? I don't know. I don't know if they get stalked in this one, but that's what it sounds like. I once met up with an old friend of mine, male, 22, a friend I had known for a few years prior to the meetup in November of 2017. I'd actually met this person on a dating site. However, as time went on, the relationship between us became strictly platonic. There were no red flags, my gut did not warn me, so I completely trusted this person. We met up in town behind a bus station on a grassy hill surrounded by trees and a tall wall. Our meeting was just to have a smoke, get a little high, and to have a small catch-up. The meetup was fine. I had actually started smoking weed a few months before, so I was still relatively new to it. He'd brought something new for me to try, purple haze. I wasn't at all anxious about trying it, as I completely trusted this person and would never believe he would lie to me. He had packed a full blunt for me, but I only managed to smoke a quarter of the blunt. We spoke during this time, about work, previous relationships, and random shit. About half an hour later, I started to feel extremely lightheaded and anxious. I suddenly had this strange feeling where I did not feel comfortable at all, and I really wanted to go home. That's how I get when I smoke. I'm just like, I want to go home. I want to be at home right now. I don't want to feel this way anymore. When I asked him if I could go home, he offered to take me, but I said, no, it's okay. He offered again, please let me take you home. You'll be safe with me. I wouldn't hurt you. I shook my head and said, no, thank you. I can take myself home. When I started to walk away, I felt like I was walking on a cloud. My head becomes dizzy and my eyesight was a little blurry. I'd never felt like this before, and in time, I started to panic. We made our way down the hill towards the bus station. I was relieved as there was a lot of people around, so if anything happened, somebody would step in. I became extremely terrified of him. I had this horrible feeling in my gut that told me to get away from him, and when I got to the bus station, I told him I would call my taxi here and go home. His tone was no longer nice, but very stern. I'm gonna take you home now. And he began to pull at my jacket. I told him no and that I was going home on my own. He pulled my jacket harder and I fell against him. He pulled me into him and told me I didn't need to be scared of him. Okay, I would be like, don't fucking touch me. I was so terrified. At this point, I started to feel very paranoid and I couldn't see properly. I pushed him away from me and rubbed my eyes and called for a taxi. He tried to pull my phone from me and yelled in my face, do you ever listen? I'm taking you home. I noticed a few people had stopped and asked if I was okay. All I remember is that I wanted to go home. So a lady kindly called a taxi for me and waited with me, made sure I was okay and helped me into the taxi. During the time when I waited for the taxi, he kept trying to get me to come into his car with him, but the lady that looked after me told him to go home and that she was going to take me home instead. So he left. When I got home, I gave the taxi driver money and told him to keep the change. I didn't want to wait around. I just wanted to get into my bed because at that time, it was the only place I would feel safe. That evening, I laid in my bed for 5 hours straight, staring at the ceiling. I don't remember if I thought about anything or if my mom came in at any time. I just remember lying in bed doing nothing until the paranoia and the sickly feeling began to wear off. I remember looking at my phone and seeing I had 32 missed calls from him, 10 voicemails, and 50 plus messages. Holy shit. The messages were weird. He had sent around 20 messages just asking where I was and when I got home. In one of the voicemails, he had told me how he had the fantasy of taking me home while drugged and tying me up. I gotta go, actually, my mom called. He wanted to blindfold me and he wanted me to submit myself to him. I freaked out and blocked him on all social media, Instagram, Snapchat, Discord, and I blocked his number. Before the blocking, I told him if he ever contacted me again, I would call the police. I heard nothing from him for a month until I received a text from an unknown number asking me how I was. I hadn't given my number to anybody, so I ignored it. I then received another message a few minutes later saying they missed me and they would see me soon. I asked who they were, no reply. Nothing. So creepy person who pretended to be my friend, let's never meet again. I've spoken to some friends with regards to my story and all of them have explained that weed would never make anybody feel this way and that a lot of them think I was given spice, not weed. Spice looks a lot like weed, but the effects are a lot stronger and a lot more dangerous. It's crazy because I kind of had an incident like that, not with another person necessarily, but kind of by myself. I don't smoke weed anymore. I fucking hate smoking weed. But when I was in high school, I would smoke pretty often. And there was one time I bought weed from like my brother's friend and me and my friend brought it back and we smoked. And then we went downstairs, but as we were going downstairs, I felt like I was in a cartoon or something and I was like, what the fuck did I just smoke? Everything around me was like really colorful and shapes. Like I was hallucinating and I was like, I don't know how to handle myself right now. And I was walking down the stairs like I had never walked downstairs before because I was like hobbling down them and I was like, I'm gonna fucking fall off this wherever I am. And then I lay down on the couch and I got like this giant bucket of Rice Krispie treats. Or not a bucket, but like a giant box of Rice Krispie treats. And then I literally fell asleep for like 8 hours. And the worst part was that my friend was gone and so I'm like, I don't even know what happened to her. Like, did she just wander outside? She was just like, you know what? I'm gonna leave. Like, I don't know what we just smoked, but now this bitch is missing. I'm covered in Rice Krispie treat wrappers, and I just slept for half my life. But that was like the only super strange experience I had with it. I'm assuming that it was laced, but I don't know what it was laced with. I also don't know why my brother's friend would fuck me over like that, but that's fine. You're not forgiven. But now I just don't smoke weed because it's not fun. for me at all. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and to the 2 people who wrote these stories, I hope you are safe and I hope nothing else happens to you regarding these 2 fucking weirdos. But anyways, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. I also don't really know where I got this shirt from. I have this like laundry basket bucket thing full of old t-shirts that I have, and I went through them and I just cannot get rid of them because I love old t-shirts. And I found this one and I don't know where I got it. I don't know whose this is. I don't know where I got it from because I did not buy this. I've never seen this before, but I was like, oh, that's cool. How did it get here? But I just don't really know what it means. If anybody knows what it means, let me know. All right, see ya.